On the Newman Jets Audio Network, this is the Jetcast, the official podcast of Newman University Athletics, featuring exclusive interviews with coaches, players, administrators, and more. The Jetcast podcast is brought to you by Ascension Via Christi, Donlinger Construction, Mel Hambledon Ford, Eck Agency, Dr. Brennan Lucas and Advanced Orthopedic Associates, Keystone Solid Surfaces, Big Corner Creative, Pepsi, and by iCryo Recovery and Wellness. Here's the voice of the Newman Jets, Blake Cripps.
Well, folks, it's our last show of the year. It is finally here. We couldn't wrap up 2022-2023 without talking one more time to our athletic director, Joanna Pryor, wrapping up her fourth year as the Admiral of the Fleet. Joe, it's always a grind every year to get to this point, but you're working so long, so hard, and there's so much time and effort that goes in. Basically everybody, Jordan, you, myself, everybody in the athletic department, but at the same time, gosh, this seems like it goes by fast every year.
Yes, it's definitely a sprint within a marathon, maybe.
No,
but it's one of those things you power through, and then at the end you just crash.
Yeah, I know that everybody's ready for some time off, but we do have some stuff we've got to get to here on our last episode of the Jetcast. I think I wrote it down. Episode 97 of the Jetcast here to wrap up the season. And let's first just talk about 2022. 2023, there's been some good highlights this year for the Jets. What's your initial impressions of the 2022-2023 season?
Sure. Well, I think we've taken a lot of steps forward. I've always said going into the MIAA with it being such a tough conference, it's going to take time. And
yes,
we have to be patient. And we did that when we transitioned to Division II and we're in the Heartland Conference. That took some time too. And so it took several years to start working your way up. And we did that. And I know that we can do that again, and it's just going to take some patience. But we've had a lot of great things. And
one of them, obviously, starting out the year was continued success for the volleyball program, and with a first-year head coach and a really, really exciting core of players that's going to be back on this fall's team. And that's, by the way, is our next Newman Jet Audio Network coverage will be this fall for Newman Jets volleyball here at Fugate Gymnasium. That coverage is planned. If you want to be a part of that, you can email Zach Brake at brakez@newmanu.edu if you'd like to be a sponsor or become a member of the Aviator Club to sponsor some of those broadcasts. We'd love to have you aboard, but I know that Coach Compton and I am very excited as well to see this nucleus come back that had a lot of success and was really pretty close to having some top 25 wins this year too.
You bet. Yeah, they've been working this spring, and they've played in some out of season scrimmages, and I know she's seen some great things from a lot of the members of that team, and so I'm excited. Of course, I coach volleyball. So.
So it's a program near and dear to your heart, and I know that a hire near and dear to your heart was Coach Grunsel. His first year in the women's soccer program, got his first win, and I know that he's hoping for a next step and maybe a big step coming up this coming fall.
Yeah, something about Coach Dylan is his positivity, and that's something that he brings to everybody here on campus every single day, and some of the things that he does with his team to make sure that they're not as stressed as some might be. They just had sort of a little Olympics, you might say. So yesterday afternoon, they played 5-on-5 basketball. They played volleyball. They are doing walking soccer today, and I thought I might need to see this.
Wow, I don't know what that is.
I don't either. When he said walking, I was thinking he was going to say taco, and I like those.
I know what that is.
Right. So, but yeah, he's doing a great job just really creating a positive culture within his program.
Well, and in the winter sports season, the Newman Jets not only had the Freshman Wrestler of the Year, which was an incredible honor for that program, and hoping to get guys back to the national tournament yet again, which they did make a return this year, but women's basketball going to the MIAA tournament for the first time ever. I know that Coach R.J. Allen is excited about the guys that he's going to be having back, but women's basketball, that was an exciting time. We certainly wish it could have been longer in Kansas City for Coach Drew and Coach Nicole, but them and some success with the Freshman Wrestler of the Year, so the sky's the limit for the wrestling program as well.
You bet. And we talk a lot in our coaches meetings about culture and just individually with coaches and building kind of that that mindset and the success culture. And it, like, again, it takes time and patience. But it was good to have a wrestler back at the national championships, and Zach was able to go and learn about that because we're hosting. Wichita is hosting wrestling national championships coming up. So,
2024 in Park City at Hartman Arena. The Jets are the host institution for that. And so, as if you guys didn't have enough stuff going on in the regular year, you'll also be hosting some national championships coming up very shortly.
Why not?
Sure.
What's one more thing, right?
That's right.
November isn't busy enough.
No, that's right.
Yeah, we need more to do.
Well, and, you look at what the spring has brought. This men's baseball team for the Jets is just a win away, we think, from making the MIAA tournament. They have really played well here recently, getting the series win. We're going to talk some Newman Jets baseball here in just a couple of minutes with Eli Wohl off the baseball team. We'll also meet a new men's soccer coach coming up here in just a second. I'm going to get to Coach about that here in just a little bit. But, this baseball team going and kind of taking it to Pittsburgh State on Sunday to win that series. Jenner Steele having an amazing week, the MIAA hitter of the week. This baseball team's been really exciting to watch and playing maybe their best baseball down the stretch.
Hard to tell you how good it feels. Those were two huge wins.
Yes.
And, I think going into the weekend, they were thinking, get one.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you get the first one, and you're thinking, okay, we've done what we came to do, but they weren't done yet.
No.
And just to see some of those guys have such a great senior year has been so rewarding, because sometimes it doesn't always, the script isn't always made that way.
Correct.
So this has been awesome. And Jenner, was hitter of the week, and he has just been phenomenal. He's going to be a teacher.
Yes, which is a little bit, from talking to people about him and hearing Coach talk about him, seems like it'll be an interesting fit for whatever school hires him.
Oh, he'll be a gem.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. The men's soccer program is a program that is going to be making a change here, which was announced on the website a few months ago. It's a long tenure, obviously, that comes to an end. You'll meet the new soccer coach, Victor Domingues. He is going to be next on the Jetcast. What were you, when you decided to make the change, which is something that, when you're moving on from a different coach, a different era, obviously there's going to be mixed feelings about that. But what goes into your decision when you are deciding whether or not to make a change? And then what are you looking for when you look for a new coach? And what specifically were you looking for in a new men's soccer coach?
So I think one of the things that I try to think about first is the student athletes.
Sure.
So how are we providing a good experience for them in the constraints that we might have? So when you're hiring someone, and this would go for any position, we need somebody that can come in and listen to the student athletes. So what is it that you want? Now, granted, there are things that we have to follow and things we have to do, so we can't do everything that they want. But they're growing up in a very interesting time right now, and have been probably for the last 6-7 years. And so we have to listen to them. We have to understand what they're going through. They didn't grow up the same way that I grew up. I didn't have cell phone until I was in college. So, they've got all this instant access. And I think across the board in athletics, it makes it difficult to coach in this day and age because everything is so instant. And success isn't always instant.
No, it's not.
So to try to teach them the patience is really, really hard. So just somebody that's ready to, I think what we get out of Victor is energy. And I think you'll see that. I think you'll see that he doesn't stop. He's nonstop.
Sure.
He has insomnia. So we figure he's going to work 24/7. Not that he needs to, but
right.
It's not healthy. So, but we're really excited about, again, like we talked to the coaches about a culture, a culture of success, a culture of responsibility and respect and all of those things that are the little things that we talk about. that translate into wins at some point.
And when you were interviewing the soccer coaches that were interested in the job, and I know that it wasn't just Victor, there were several applicants for the job, as you interviewed him and as you've gotten to know Coach Domingues, what do you think that he is going to bring to this program other than his youthful energy, which we're going to, again, stay tuned. He's going to be on the next segment. You'll get to meet him. He's just the second men's soccer coach in the history of the Division II era of the program and the third in the history of the school. But what do you think that he will bring, and what do you hope that he brings to the soccer program?
Accountability. I think that when you watch soccer, I think you'll see teams that don't have a lot of
go ahead. You can
tough questions.
You can put your coaching hat on here.
I just think we need for him to make sure that they are living out Newman's mission.
Sure.
Right. So they have respect for themselves, for each other, for others. And you can see that on the field, right? Or on the court, on any playing surface. I think you can really see when that program is built on accountability, respect, and so that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And when you watch other teams and you see it, you know what it looks like.
Well, and another thing that I know that you're looking forward to is maybe just a little bit of downtime for you and your staff. I know that there's more stuff coming up, but, you have to push a long time in athletics, especially at the Division II level, which is really interesting because the NCAA likes to say, oh, well, we're the level of life and the balance and all this other stuff, which is like, yeah, do you actually live that life at all, NCAA?
It's just for the student
athletes. Not really for anybody else. But, how much do you appreciate the work of everybody that's been here on staff and all the hard work and hours that they've put into, because there's a lot of people that don't get to sit in your seat here that have a lot to do with making everything successful around athletics and making all the events happen. It takes a large fleet to make this happen, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's not just me. And it's so many other people that have that kind of give their lives, right, to Newman Athletics, and they're ready for a break too.
Yeah.
And I always say these bags they didn't come just from me. That's Newman.
They weren't just
that's
from
Newman
coaching.
Right there. Yeah, that's Newman right there. But like Jordan's one of them. Sports information never stops.
Yeah.
Never stops. And it's constant. Zach Riley, our graduate assistant, who's graduating.
Yeah, how sad is that going to be?
I don't really want to talk about it. I don't know what we're going to do without her. It's going to be awful. But, they cover me too. In the spring, my kids are very busy too. And
sure.
We have something every night, whether it's Newman or whether it's at home. And so, they're there for me. They're like, we got this all the time. So I have good people, and I think that's what they always tell you: surround yourself with good people.
Sure. Well, and I don't know if this is a good time or I didn't have this on my notes to bring up, but it's my show, so I'm going to bring it up anyway. But you have a couple of employees that are going to be getting married, as it turns out.
Oh,
how exciting is that for Zach and Riley?
Yeah. They surprised me. I had no idea it was coming. I was probably as surprised as Riley. They came in one day and I was talking about something that happened over the weekend, and I had grabbed Riley's left hand, and I was explaining how this happened, and then I put her hand down, and she said, "Do you want to hold my hand again?" And I thought, well, that's weird. So I said, sure. And I grabbed her hand and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I had tears in my eyes, and it takes a lot for that. So they were like, that's the exact reaction we were looking for.
They should have got somebody in there from social media. That would have been awesome.
Oh my gosh.
But we're very, very happy for both of them, obviously. I know that there's going to be downtime coming, but it's never too early to start thinking about the Jet Open.
You betcha.
And I know that the first day that you think about the Jet Open is probably the day after the Jet Open. Maybe do you give them 24 hours after the Jet Open? Like, this is a 24-hour period where you don't have to think about the Jet Open. But after that, you're already thinking about the next year's Jet Open.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of cleanup and a lot of finish.
Sure.
So it takes a little longer than that. But, so Billy Murphy, has transitioned or added a role.
Yes, he has.
For Director of Advancement for Athletics. And he is busy with the Jet Open as well as myself, getting sponsorships, getting prepared, and getting things on order. So.
Yes, and this is the biggest Newman's athletic sponsorship opportunity. Maybe, along with Giving Day, obviously a ton of people give to athletics on Giving Day as well, but this is the main fundraiser of the year for Newman Athletics. There's going to be a ton of information on the website. Still availability if you would like to be a golfer this year, or if you'd like to be a sponsor this year, you can go to NewmanJets.com, follow Newman Jets on Twitter. There's going to be all kinds of stuff happening after the calendar turns to May. You'll be getting stuff about the Newman Jet Open all summer. So if you'd like to play, we would love to see you out there yet again. And can you just give the people who might be listening or watching here just an idea of how important this event is to what you guys are able to do as an athletic department?
Yeah. No, this, 100% of the funds go to the athletic department. Generally speaking, we use that money to make improvements around campus. One of the projects that we're really thinking and looking at is kind of a renovation of the weight room.
Okay.
So right now we're limited. It's a smaller space, but then we're even limited with our equipment of how many people we can get in there at one time.
And this is, the weight room is not, there are some programs, you look at the Division I level at a place like Alabama, and there are different sports have their own weight room. This is really a project that would touch every single student athlete that Newman has.
Yes, correct. Yeah. And so that's why with the money that we make from the Jet Open, that's it's easy for me to spend money on something like that because it does touch every single student athlete.
Well, and you've talked about, increasing the student athlete experience. I know that Zach has done that with some sponsorships that he brought in on that side, just to have opportunities available to student athletes for some cryotherapy. We appreciate all the sponsors that we have. I know that that's something, that adds something a little bit to the package, especially when you're able to do more of those things in this NIL era where maybe you couldn't have it before. But you've also talked about that in terms of facilities, all of that, all those things really do help the student athlete experience, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and there's just little things, and I think that's what you're always thinking of. How can you get better? Maybe it's big, maybe it's little, but how do we keep pushing and how do we keep getting better?
Well, the last question for you then is, what is the next big thing? We've talked a lot about, facilities in the past. We've talked about student athlete experience. That's been the two main things that you've talked to me about is, we have some facilities, things we want to get done. We've talked about baseball. You've talked about the weight room. We've also talked about student athlete experience. And that was something that you mentioned really back in 2019, your first day on the job, the first time I had you up here, is that we need to have a great student athlete experience here at Newman. So what's the next overarching goal, the next 5, 10, 20, I don't know how long of a project it'll be, but what's the next thing that you think you're looking at in terms of elevating Newman athletes, the student athlete experience or the fan experience?
Yeah. So I think a couple of things. So one, we do request feedback from student athletes every year. And so through that, we try to see if there's kind of a common theme of where can we get better.
Sure.
So we'll see what that is because those are all flooding in. And then we're hopefully going to be starting on a turf project for our outdoor sports. So baseball, softball, soccer.
Okay.
That's going to take a lot of support
Absolutely.
and a lot of time. And looking forward to it, though, I think it'll give a better experience for those particular student athletes. If you know anything about baseball and softball, those student athletes put a lot into their facilities themselves, and which is admirable, and I love that part of it. But I also know that it takes a lot of time.
It does.
And so if we can give back some time to people and coaches that also take care in soccer, coaches are working on their fields as well in the summer. And if we can give that time back, I think that benefits our student athletes as well.
When do you anticipate, so you're just kind of, saying, hey, this is something that we would like to do. When do you anticipate the start of an actual campaign, or what that would look like for somebody out there who says, you know what, I would like to support support something like that at Newman?
I have a meeting next week.
Okay, so maybe soonish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping sooner than later.
Okay, so I guess what we're going to say is stay tuned to the Newman Jets social media, newmanjets.com. There may be something coming out here pretty soon. And obviously, anytime that you want to call and make a donation, it's 316-942-4291. Just ask for athletics. I'll get you to the right place. It's not a problem. We'll get you if you would like to support athletics. We would love to have your support. We thank you for watching and listening all these years to the show, and obviously this year as well. Joanna Pryor, we thank you for your time as well. Thank you so much. Have a great summer. I know it's still going to be somewhat busy, but do take some time for yourself.
Different kind of busy.
It is a different kind of busy.
And thank you, Blake,
for
everything you do
You're
for us.
so welcome. It's been such a great year, and we're not quite done yet. We've got the head men's soccer coach. We will introduce you to your new Newman men's soccer coach when we come back on the Jetcast.
That's Jet Swag, the official online store of Newman University Athletics, and NewJetsGear.com. The store features the greatest variety of Jets logo gear anywhere, the latest clothing styles and hats, to Newman-branded lawn chairs and office supplies, and more. And NewJetsGear.com is your place to purchase sports-specific, alumni, parents, and hard-to-find Newman merchandise. Shop right now on your computer or phone, and NewJetsGear.com, or click the Shop Now button at NewmanJets.com.
Coming this fall to Wilkins Field, a new era of Newman Jets soccer. It's my privilege to welcome and introduce you to the second coach in program history in the Division II era. He's just the third men's soccer coach ever at the school, Victor Domingues. Coach Domingues previously was an assistant and interim head coach at Texas Permian Basin, helped the Falcons their first ever Lone Star Conference tournament in 2021. And he's also the head coach of the West Texas Football Club in the National Premier Soccer League. Coach Domingues, welcome to Wichita. Thanks so much for being here on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you've made the adjustment here to the air capital of the world. How is life in Wichita so far for you?
Yeah, it's been great. People have been welcoming. I can actually have some sightseeing things to do around here. Like I can enjoy myself a little bit, so it's been great. I'm enjoying it.
Well, so Texas Permian Basin, your last stop, the men's soccer program was terminated there along with, I think, cross country. That's a difficult thing to go through, I'm sure, for you professionally, you as a leader of young men, and obviously for the guys themselves. How difficult was that, and how did you help those guys and a program there that was ending and I'm sure hurting when they got the news? How did you help them move forward, and how did you try to move yourself forward?
Yeah, so it was very, very tough when we got the news, and it was kind of an abrupt telling of us or for us. But we just we had a couple of training sessions afterwards. Obviously, myself and the boys were hurting, so it was nobody really wanted to go to the pitch anymore. We didn't really know what we were going to do, what was going to happen. But we still kept in touch. I helped numerous of them get recruited. Obviously, I'm bringing a couple of them with me. I'm still helping a few of them get recruited. And before I even came here, I spoke with Joanna. And I was like, hey, do you mind if I stay and have these last scrimmages with the guys just so I can be there for them and we can have film, some extra film for these guys to get recruited and stuff. So we did that. We played Saturday and Sunday, and then I just turned around and came here and started on that Monday. So.
Well, and here you are now. So the Newman job opens, and I'm not sure, obviously, of the timeline of when UTPB, informed you guys versus when this job opened, but what excited you about this possibility of coming to Wichita?
It's just what I kept saying in my interviews. I wanted to go to a place where I could make a difference and I could feel like I mattered. Obviously, I've played against Newman when I used to play in college, so I've seen, the previous history of the program, the success of the program. Not sure where down the line or what happened, and I just felt like I could come here and make a difference, and obviously it was a change of place on scenery and town and stuff like that, so it was
and most likely weather too, I'm guessing, compared to Texas and Odessa.
I don't know if I'm enjoying the weather that much though. It's cold. It's 6 out of the 7 days. Today I woke up and it's cold.
It is. Well, and see, the thing is, we don't even really consider this cold. This is
exactly.
This is just a little cool. Once we get into January, you may say, oh, well, yeah, he wasn't lying. Early workouts, I know that I've seen you guys out there. Obviously, you have met with the team. You've done some workouts with the team. What has that process been like as you have met this group of guys that you've inherited? And obviously, I'm sure, as you mentioned, recruiting process still going on, bringing your guys in from UTPB, finding the right pieces to bring in. But what's that process been like in terms of meeting the Jets that are already here?
Yeah. No, it's been a good transition. I think they had a lot of, I guess, negative things in the past, and even within the team, the culture, and within amongst themselves. But I just think even for them, as much as it was for me, it just needed a kind of a new direction and a new change and a new face or something. So since I've been here, they've been great. Obviously, we've had a couple of hiccups that we've talked about it, we've met about it, and we've sorted it out amongst ourselves. And we've just kept moving forward and kept going and kept pushing. And same with the weights in the morning. It's at 5 a.m., so that's already a hurdle and adversity in itself. And they're there, they're doing it, they're pulling their own way. Like Kieran's been giving me all the feedback, and he's like, no, they've been great. So I have zero complaints on them right now.
You've talked a lot about culture already, just between me and you. When you think about the kind of culture that you want to build, this is the first time you've been the head coach of a program, not as the interim, at least at the collegiate level. When you think about the kind of culture that you want to be associated with you, and obviously by extension with Newman Jet Soccer, what do you envision that culture being? Yeah,
so we have a couple of things that I always say in my meetings with them, and the first one is commitment. So we go from that, like, you have to be committed in everything that you do, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the weights, whether it's on the pitch, whether it's, a 5-yard sprint, whether it's a 15-yard sprint, whatever it is, you've got to be committed to doing it and do it with the utmost passion. And that's my end point to all of that, is you have to have passion in what you do. Like, whether you envision yourself playing pro or you envision yourself being, the doctor, whatever it is, you've got to do it to your utmost ability and put everything that you have into it. Obviously, like, that derives from how my upbringing is and my attitude and my personality. I'm intense and demanding on the sideline, and that's just because I want the absolute best. I want us to chase perfection and excellence and stuff like that. So, if I don't put my passion into it and my all into it, they're going to know it, and they're going to, sense that fakeness, and they're not going to buy into the product, into the process that I want the team to go towards. So, everything that you do, you just put your all into it.
Well, you're not that far removed from your own playing days. Are there any times when you get out there, have you gotten out there on the pitch with the guys and said, no, this is how it's done?
Oh, I'm always with the bib on. I'm always on the field.
You're always ready to go at a moment's notice.
You can ask Felix. He's 0-3 against me right now.
Wow. Okay. So the challenge has been thrown down for sure. Not just with your culture, but, there's definitely different styles of soccer that can be played. In terms of the kind of soccer that you want your team to play, what do you feel like Newman Jets, obviously it may take more than 1 year to implement a style change. I'm going to be completely honest, not a huge soccer expert here on this side of the desk at least. But, compared to what had been run, and I'm sure Coach Brown had made modifications over the years as well, but in terms of what was being run, how much, what do you feel like the style of soccer that you want to play is when people come out to watch you this fall? What kind of a soccer team are you hoping that they will see?
Yeah, so I'm a prideful person when it comes to football or soccer, and I want to keep it. I want to keep the ball, I want to move the ball, build from the back, and just expose the other teams by moving the ball left and right and then breaking the lines going forward. Defensively, I'm demanding. Be demanding, be intense, be aggressive, be gritty. I want to high press every single team, and I want to go after teams when the ball as high up the pitch as we can, so we're closest to the goal, and we just need to connect 1 or 2 passes and, get a shot on target or something, finish the play. So it's like I told these guys, like, I think what to expect is exciting soccer and exciting product on the field, because these guys are going to get after it whenever we don't have the ball, and when we do, it's going to be fun to watch because they're going to be moving the ball, which is the pretty side of football. And then whenever we get it out to our attacking players, then it's the exciting where I'm going to let them be creative and express themselves and have fun, because my job is to get them to the closest to the goal, and after that it's like, hey, take people on, dribble past players, do a fancy pass, whatever it is. The final third is yours to have fun, as long as we finish the play and, then continue to enjoy the game, because sometimes we treat it like a job, and, everybody's here because, they started off because they enjoyed the sport, they wanted to play the sport, and they had fun playing the sport. So, yes, we need to be, composed and disciplined to build from the back, so we can't lose it and allow a goal to happen. But once we finish that part and we get towards their goal, then it's like, all right, now this is when, pretend you're at the playground or something, have fun.
So you mentioned your job, and you've actually got another job, because when you came in, you were also the head coach of West Texas FC in the National Premier Soccer League. That's obviously back in Texas. So you're going to be coaching two different teams, two very different levels, one a professional team, one here in NCAA Division II. How do you envision that split working? But obviously, you've got two separate teams to manage, and I'm sure, when you're coaching professionals, that's a much different level of commitment, much different level of athlete as well. So how do you kind of blend both? And obviously, I know even while you're coaching West Texas, you're still going to have your eye on the Jets, and probably while you're with the Jets, may have an eye on West Texas as well.
Yeah, no, I'm currently doing that at the moment, so it doesn't change anything. I think that's one of the pros of being a young and energetic person, and currently, it's just me, myself, and Jordan at the house. So it's like I get to spend my entire days working on it. So obviously right now at Newman, I'm doing a lot of recruiting. But for West Texas FC, we've just been planning for the session, planning since we start on Monday, and planning for games and lineups and when guys are going to arrive and stuff like that. But on both sides, the best thing for me has just been the staff over here, like Vic and Cole, and now Matt as the next GA that's going to start in the fall. They've been absolutely great. I show up to the training pitch and everything is set up. They bring everything out. They've been helping. Vic's been helping with recruiting. It's been tremendous, and it makes it a very easy transition, and it takes a lot off of my load. And then for West Texas FC, Lee, Elmer, and Alex, they've been tremendous, and Melissa, our director of operations, hands down one of the best people I've worked with so far. She's just put on so many different hats and has helped so much, and she continues to help. And so it makes my job easy, where I'm just like, hey, do you want to play for me? Yes, no, okay. Next person, you want to play for me?
Sure.
Yes, okay. Get in the lineup, and this is how we're going to do things, and we move forward, and I don't have to worry about everything in the background, because everybody else has been pulling their weights, and so I've been extremely grateful on both sides.
Now, one thing that people may not know is, because you came up here kind of in the middle of the year, trying to figure things out. Jordan Kuderer, our sports information director, has been living in the dorm. He was supposed to be a GA this whole year, so he's planning to get his own place, but happened to have a bunk open in the room. Coach Domingues comes up, short order. You need to find a place to sleep for a few months. And so you two have kind of been roommates here for these last few weeks. How has that been? And who's a better roommate, you or Jordan?
Oh, no, he's 100% a better roommate. I'm living like a freshman in college right now. I do not mind exposing myself right now. I just came here, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gone in a month. I'm just going to focus on the job. And, I've been eating McDonald's every day instead of actually, buying pots and pans and cooking.
Sure.
And, yeah, he's definitely been 100% a better roommate.
So are you going to be more excited to get your own place, or is he going to be more excited that he is not living with you? How does that work?
Oh, I don't know.
Jordan is behind the camera, by the way.
At this point, I'll probably go with him, because I know he'll keep it tidy and clean, and I get to play with his cat. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that will be something that you'll miss once you guys get your own places. Well, welcome to Wichita. Last thing for you, how excited are you, and how much more do you feel like you've got to do to be ready? I know that we've still got the whole summer break ahead of us. And it'll be nice to have some time off. I'm sure for you, you won't have as much time off since you'll have another team to coach. But I know that August for those preseason workouts, it's going to get here real quick. So how do you get yourself ready, and how do you get these guys ready to come in here and get set for the MIAA and GAC schedule that they will face coming up in August and September?
Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to finalize our roster, just have everything in place, and then my biggest thing is trying to finalize it before I leave for Texas, obviously, because I want to have everything in place before I go. And it's a lot easier to communicate with people in person than it is through text, and maybe it gets lost in translation. So this week we have 2 today actually, and then I think 5 or 6 guys coming in to train with the team and do their whole campus visits and stuff like that. So hopefully we finish all of that, and by the time I leave to Texas, I can send them, summer workout packets, philosophy, methodology, everything that we're going to talk about in the fall. But right now, it's just the guys that are here. We just continue to, some of them are getting frustrated. Well, we're doing this, we're doing that. And it's like, yes, just trust the process, because in the fall, it's more than likely going to be almost a completely brand new team.
Sure.
So I need everybody, even like you guys, to be the base of, hey, everybody that's coming in, we're pushing this way, or we're pulling this way, and we're going this way. So right now, we just need to take this week and continue to hit it hard in training and hit it hard in recruiting, and then hopefully by Saturday, maybe it's unrealistic, but hopefully by Saturday, the roster's finalized, everybody's got their NLI signs, and I know exactly who's coming in and what we're going to do in the fall.
He is just the second men's soccer coach in the history of the Division II program, and just the third men's soccer coach in the history of the school. Victor Domingues and his Jets are coming to Wilkins Field this fall. Coach, can't wait to see you guys out on the pitch. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We will wrap up the show talking some Newman Jets baseball to wrap up the year on the Jetcast when we come back.
I have a little birthday message for you from someone, too.
I heard you really love basketball. You're a good shooter and a good dribbler. Happy birthday, MJ, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Last segment of the year here on the Jetcast, and the Jet baseball team making their last road trip of the year with a chance to make the MIAA tournament. They have put themselves in position after beating Pittsburgh State last week. First ever NCAA Division II era series win over the Gorillas. The Jets will head to Northeastern State for a 3-game series this weekend. The Jets win 1 game and they are in to the MIAA tournament. To talk to us about it, outfielder from Ponca City, Oklahoma, a junior on this baseball team, Eli Wohl, hitting .320 on the year, playing center field for the Jets with hits in each game of the Pittsburgh State series. Eli, thank you so much for being on the program. Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that first ever win over Pittsburgh State MIAA era, that had to be very exciting for you guys. You guys play very well on Friday, don't play your best game at all on Saturday. How did you guys come back with such a great performance in the Sunday game? And, boy, you not just run rule them, but you shut them out.
I mean, going into this weekend, we knew Pitt State was a good team. Obviously, they were ranked 3rd in the conference. They were the 3rd-ranked hitting team, just right below us. So we knew going into it we're going to have to fight. Came out strong Friday, got the win. Took a lot of pressure off our backs because we really just wanted to focus on getting 1 win.
Sure.
So we could really focus on beating Northeastern and making it into the tournament. But, yeah, come out Friday real strong, win that game. Saturday come out lackadaisical, not a lot of energy, and then Pitt State kind of brought it to us. So we knew coming into it Sunday we had nothing to lose, just kind of leave it all on the line, and might as well go try to win another game.
Yeah, you might as well.
So we just so happened to run rule them 11-0. So that was nice. Bats came out hot. There was a lot of energy, and Nate pitched an amazing game. He just did great, and then Andrew Preve came in and closed it out.
Slammed the doors shut.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys had a couple of really good pitching performances. With Nate Denniston was an honorable mention for the MIAA Pitcher of the Week. Maybe he should have got it instead of the Washburn guy. Well, not sure. Don't want to throw shade on anybody too much for that. But Jenner Steele, the MIAA Hitter of the Week, with a home run in every game of that series. 4 home runs. He's got 19 of the year. What's it like being the teammate of Jenner Steele? How much are you going to miss this guy next year?
Me and Jenner. Jenner's one of my dudes, man. We're together like almost every day, no matter what, playing 2K or, just hanging out,
sure,
hitting extra or whatnot. He's a treasure, man. He's different. He is absolutely on fire right now. Baseball is looking like a beach ball for him.
Yeah.
Just seeing it super well, swinging it well. He's a great guy to be around, just being around him and, kind of just taking notes, giving each other tips and tricks, and just talking about, what we've been through in the past and where we've come from. going to miss him a lot.
So when you are playing 2K with Jenner and Jenner is doing well, how irritating is that? It has to be, pretty loud in the dorm or in the baseball team house when that happens.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not a quiet game when I play Jenner. We're both super energetic, loud people, so it gets pretty rowdy really quick.
Which 2K game are you guys typically playing?
It's usually 23, 2K23,
okay.
The newer one. We'll banter into the show sometimes too. We'll play MLB The Show. That's kind of my forte. He likes to play 2K more than I do. But.
Sure. And which sport of 2K is this?
Basketball.
Basketball. So
yeah,
they used to make football games for 2K.
Right, yeah.
People said they were actually pretty good. Some people still play those. So you had a hit in every game of the Pittsburgh State Series. Didn't hit your best against Missouri Southern, but they're a really good team. You haven't had too many spurts of games where you have not gotten a hit. How important was it for you to put that Southern series behind you and come back and perform well against Pittsburgh State?
I mean, it was really important. Obviously, didn't play my best against Southern. Didn't play my best against Pitt either. But just coming off of Missouri Southern, I wasn't seeing the ball very well. They had good pitchers, which credit to them.
Yeah.
But wasn't seeing the ball very well, and I knew I had to do something to just help the team win. Just find a way to get on base, find a way to just see the ball, stay to my approach, and just be a leader on the team to just try to find a way to help us win. So didn't play my best against Pitt, but I did get a hit in every game, and I was just trying to keep my head high because everyone was doing so well around me, and we were performing so well as a team. So it was hard to get down on myself. Obviously, always expect the best, want to go 4 for 4 every game.
Sure.
But obviously, that's not possible.
It's hard to feel too bad about a 3-game hitting streak.
Absolutely.
Going into the last week of the season.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but you got your first stolen base since March in that series.
Wow.
I obviously, from your reaction, I'm guessing you didn't know that because you're a guy who has a very, very high steal rate. You're very successful when you do steal. So how did that feel? Obviously, that's not something that you've talked about. I guess the situations have just not been there to put you in motion to this point over the last month.
Right.
Or maybe from your reaction, maybe you're thinking, maybe I should steal every time. I don't know what Coach Mouse would think about that.
Yeah, no kidding. I did not know that. That is kind of interesting. I guess most of the time I do get on with people in front of me, so, that's not a bad thing. But, it was actually the play was a bunt and run. Sean was hitting. He was supposed to bunt while I stole, but the pitch was way outside, so I guess it worked out.
Yeah, it did.
Base,
well,
so.
And, you talk about Coach Mouse out there. Is there going to be a conversation between you and Coach when we get done in terms of, hey, Coach, maybe I should steal a little bit more?
I'm not going to put any blame on him because I always have the green light to steal. So
okay.
I guess I'm going to have to wear this one. I had no idea that was a stat that coming into this. I didn't know, but
that is a real stat that we looked up. We do real research for this show.
That's wild. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of research for the show, and sometimes when you're a good interviewer, you have to react to the information that's presented to you or what you see. And as you guys know, if you're listening or if you're watching, you obviously know that we actually put these videos on YouTube on the Newman Athletics YouTube channel, and there are links all over to find it. But if you're watching, you may be noticing that Eli Wohl looks a little bit worse for wear today, a little bit of a shiner there on the right eye. And this actually happened. I didn't know it happened at the time, but this actually happened in the Ouachita Baptist game. You fouled off a pitch that hit you in the head, which I'm not sure I had ever seen before. What happened on that play? I remember during the game, you fought valiantly to keep your spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
You were overruled by, I don't know if it was by Coach Mouse. I think it was by Coach Mouse and not Cam.
Yeah.
But you were overruled. What happened on that play, and how hard did that ball hit you?
Wasn't having a good day against OBU either, but it was a fastball inside, just try to fight it off. And, coaches always tell you keep your eye on the ball, so I guess I took that a little too literally. Fastball inside, hit it right off the end of the bat, and it just came up and popped me right in the eye. And at first I was super confused. I didn't know how it happened. And then when I opened my eye, I was like, wow, I can still see. This is weird.
Yeah.
But then, Cam and Mouse came over and they were like, dude, your eye's going to be completely swollen shut in 20 minutes. You're not going to play. And I was like, oh, I kind of just want to finish this at bat. It's not going to take 20 minutes. But that's just kind of what happened.
Well, God, on that play, that was an inside pitch, wasn't it? It looked like when you swung, it looked like they had a better chance of hitting you than actually you getting. But somehow you made contact with it.
I mean, it probably would have hit me anyways. So.
Yeah.
But,
well, anyway, you have recovered well. Northeastern State coming up on the road. How much have you guys talked about this series with the Riverhawks?
A lot. The focus. I mean, even going into Pitt, it's really about beating them because we're kind of in the standings with Northeastern. But obviously after playing good ball against Pitt, everyone's saying one game, all we need to win is one game to get in. But our focus is winning the series. Obviously,
sure.
2 to 3 games, securing our spot in the 6th seed, and then hopefully going back and playing Pitt. If not playing Washburn, get some revenge on them. But just securing our spot in the 6th seed is a huge focus for us.
Yeah, it would certainly be nice to not have to go to Missouri Southern or Central Missouri. They've played very, very well this year. So we'll make this your last question. Obviously, you guys are in position to do something that this program has never done in making the MIAA tournament. It's been since 2014 since the Jets played postseason baseball. How do you go into that game with, the knowledge of everything that you can achieve, but obviously you want to not put too much pressure on yourself personally and also as a team to try to live up to what your expectations for the season are? We talked with Coach Mouse, talked with you about it before, the team I know talked about it. We're talking to your teammates about this being the goal. And especially, I know that not everybody on the team was here last year, but making sure that what happened last year, missing it by a tiebreaker, didn't happen again. So how do you go into that and not put too much pressure on yourself when you have the full knowledge of what you can achieve this weekend?
Right. I mean, obviously, it kind of comes down to this one weekend, but, I mean, we've prepared all year for this, just getting ourselves in the right position to be able to control our own destiny, as Mal says. But in my personal opinion, it's not about making the tournament, but it's about, playing well in the tournament. It's not just like we haven't been there since 2014, but it's not just about making it in and then, automatically getting out or whatnot. It's about performing and trying to make the overall goal of getting to carry North Carolina. So, to me, there's not a lot of pressure, personally. It's just we need to do what we do best and play together as a team, keep the bats alive and back our pitchers up in the field. So just going into this weekend, just being able to do what we do and not focus on making it into the tournament, but focus on staying hot and continuing that hot streak while we're in the tournament.
It is a 3-game series scheduled for Tahlequah, Oklahoma against the Riverhawks of NSU. 5 o'clock for the first pitch on Friday, although I have been told that there is rain in the forecast for northeastern Oklahoma. So you may want to stay tuned to Newman Jets BSB on Twitter. They'll have the updates for you if the schedule were to get moved. But as of now, 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with a 5 o'clock first pitch on Friday for the Jets and the Riverhawks, as both of those teams are actually tied in the standings right now, and both teams need a win to get in and guarantee their spot in the MIAA tournament. Eli, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Best of luck to you and the Navy and Red this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a couple of programming notes for you. This is obviously our last show of the year, but we do want to remind you that we do have Newman Jets softball here at home on Friday and Saturday. They're celebrating Senior Day on Saturday, so if you can make it out, they would love to have you at the ballpark at NU Softball Field at the Diamond Sports Complex this weekend as Newman softball plays their final games of the year Friday and Saturday. And if you want to keep up with the Jets baseball team, you can watch those games. Again, 5 o'clock first pitch on Friday. You can watch that game and all the games in the series on the MIAA Network, the MIAAnetwork.com/Newman. Really appreciate you guys for watching and listening all year long. Everybody else behind the camera, Jordan, Nathaniel, everybody who's edited the videos, all the guests, all the coaches. Really appreciate everybody for being a part of the show here this year. Enjoy your summer. It won't be too long before we're talking volleyball, soccer. Coach Domingues will be back on. It will be the 2023-24 season before we know it. But until then, enjoy your summer. Blake Cripps in Wichita saying, go Jets.